everyone. I'm Leigh Zinsmeister. I'm the managing editor of Nation's Restaurant News, and I am joined today by Rodney Anderson, the founder and president of Pancheros. So thank you for joining me today, Rodney.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you give me a quick 30-second, your elevator pitch on Pancheros?
Pancheros is a fast, casual, fresh Mexican concept, which everyone knows a lot of them. But our thing is we press each and every tortilla fresh. So we make our dough balls, and then when you order a burrito, we press the tortilla out and finish it for you right there. Makes for a fantastic burrito, great quesadillas. We also mix all the ingredients up in our burrito before we roll them up. So you get every ingredient in every bite. And those are our big differentiating factors.
Yeah. Yeah, so you founded Pancheros more than 30 years ago now.
Yes.
What was your original inspiration and vision for the brand?
Well, the original inspiration were Chicago-style taquerias. So I grew up in the Chicago area, and we used to go into the Mexican neighborhoods and eat these big burritos. As soon as we got our driver's license, we were all over town doing this, and it was kind of a young person cult favorite thing. And we thought we would bring it to college towns. And started that way, and we've changed so much since then. But I wouldn't call it a Chicago-style burrito at all anymore. But that was the original inspiration.
What makes a burrito Chicago style?
Chicago style was skirt steak, Chihuahua cheese, refried beans.
Okay.
There were a couple tortilla companies out of Chicago that everyone used, and it was just a big burrito, very male-dominated product. Sell lots of chorizo, and that's what we were for our first 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you talked a bit about how the menu has evolved. How else has Pancheros evolved over the years, especially as you've grown, because you're up to 70 something?
76, yeah.
Okay.
We evolved quite a bit in '98 with the tortilla and upscaled our concept and changed the menu some. Came back in 2008 and added our bobbing of the mixing of the burritos. And then have stayed very consistent and very simple as we grew franchise-wise. And the big change in our business was probably with the pandemic with the digital business. So for some reason, we were very well positioned, in part due to this conference, with Olo originally back when they were small and we were small, and getting DoorDash and Dispatch and everything set up just about a year before the pandemic.
Wow.
And when it hit, that took off, and we poured all our advertising budget into digital sales to make sure our franchisees made it. That was the reaction right away, was we have to make sure our franchisees make it. Let's cut all production, consulting, everything. Let's just pour everything into it. And it turned out to be the pandemic wasn't easy on anybody, but a couple months later, our sales were booming. And our digital sales are now about 31% of sales, and they were 12 before then. So that's really changed our concepts. We've added drive-through pickup windows in 3 locations, have a 4th one opening next week.
Okay.
Have 4 more coming next year. We've added second digital make lines it'll be half the restaurants by the end of the year. It's probably 35% right now.
Sure.
To handle that order flow.
Yeah.
And so we're really trying to make that as efficient as we can and keep growing that.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned your increased digital sales during the height of the pandemic. Would you say you've maintained that level of digital sales, or have you seen it dip back down?
Well, originally, if you went out east and there were curfews and nobody could enter.
So
yeah, we were in New Jersey. We had curfews and curbside, and
right.
Things got crazy. Some of those stores were, 85-90% of sales were digital. But once things settled in, it came back down to maybe 24-25% and has grown to 31 or 32. And we don't have so many stores that it's a perfect data set, but
yeah.
The second lines are a significant increase versus the one line for the digital business because it's better for the customer.
Yeah.
So they use it more. And then the pickup windows add another % or 2 digital sales also. so that they can order on the app and then just pull up to the window.
Sure.
So,
I want to talk more about the fresh made tortillas for every order.
yeah.
I have questions about how you scale something like that, because I imagine you have to get franchisees to buy into this is a good idea. And then I imagine there's also a certain amount of training for the entry-level frontline employees who are working in these restaurants. How does it work?
So, well, we had 5 or 6 restaurants when we did it
Okay.
in
So
1998.
you started really small.
So we got one of these machines from a new company sent to our distributor's test kitchen, and we started playing with it and came up with our ideas and closed for a few days, remodeled our restaurant,
Wow.
moved in the equipment, and jumped right in and found out that making the dough and the dough balls was pretty easy.
Okay.
But pressing the tortillas the way we thought wasn't going to work because they really stuck together. So we couldn't like do 10 as a show and then have them ready.
Right.
We did it one at a time, every single order. And it actually is very fast and doesn't stop throughput. You know, we've gotten good at it. So we put that machine to the test. They had to beef it up because we're a lot of use on that.
The fact that you started with 5 units makes it all the more impressive that you've scaled it to 76 and counting. So that's great.
Yeah.
So we've talked through the menu and some of the recent digital things. What's been new at Pancheros in the last like 2 or 3 years, like since things are back open again, whether it's the menu or marketing, operational changes?
You know, it's really trying to fine tune some of that digital stuff. And that's what we're going to focus on this year is getting more efficient labor-wise with that. I'm trying to model that better. See what the differences are between the 2 lines and the 1 line for that. Inflation has been so big that you know, in our hiring and people, we're hiring data people and we're looking at how do we break this code. Our unit level economics have always been fantastic. We're very simple, well-defined concept. We have a discipline that says you have to have this food, you know, and we've always hit it and hit whatever the industry would say is a very good number.
Okay.
The inflation has been a little bit crazy. So all the price increases we've done in the last, say, 4 years, which we haven't done as much as most of the industry, has really only covered the food inflation, the labor inflation, some of the other things, but it hasn't covered the digital slice, the 3-4% of cost of sales.
Okay.
We need to figure out how to do that.
Sure.
So that's, we're trying to get back to that very efficient model and cover that 3 or 4%. That was never in the P&L before, you know, a few years ago. So.
Yeah. What's coming up for Pancheros, or what do you hope to see Pancheros achieve in the next 2 to 3 years?
We're going to open a few more of those pickup drive-through windows and hopefully get most of all of our restaurants with the second digital line and continue to grow franchise-wise. So.
All right. I mean, are you exploring new markets? Are you happy with the region you're in? Or?
So we've got in Iowa where we're incredibly strong, and we are in many areas, but Iowa is our oldest market. We've gone to some smaller towns, and those have worked really well. So this year we're going to open a few more smaller towns in the Midwest, Iowa, Illinois, Missouri.
Okay.
And hopefully that goes very well, and that continues. Those are contiguous. So we'll see how that goes. We're not gonna jump 3 states over and go to a small town, but
sure.
But where we've got a good core and good profitable franchisees, we're gonna let them go a little further with it.
Great. You're a founder. You've been with your brand for more than 30 years now. What advice would you have for more recent founders who are looking to achieve the level of success that Pancheros has seen?
I think it's a different world now. So
Sure.
I had the chance to work for 6 years and then really figure out how to do it and revamp it entirely and simplify it, and that worked really well. I don't know that you get that much time anymore. And with private equity, I think the whole, strategy is a little different and your control over the situation is different. I would carefully look at how you franchise when you start and who you let in, because that's a big part. But always be simple Always concentrate on unit level economics. Respect the restaurant business. Nobody's doing anything new, right? It's the same rules as they always were. And if you just have that discipline, then you're successful.
Sure. Last question. I ask everybody this about their own brands. Next time I'm at a Pancheros, what should I order?
Queso.
Okay.
Queso, queso, and queso.
It's an easy sell for me. I used to live in Texas.
We have the best queso in the country. And we do it in the restaurant, and everybody tells me that. And I walk around here and people want to manufacture it for us, and we say no, we can't change it. It's too good. We sell more queso than tacos. So.
Wow, that's great. Yeah. I'm looking forward to trying the queso next time I'm there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for joining me, Rodney.
All right, thank you.